Both of you guys, how are you getting settled into Fayetteville? How are you liking the area? And Mitch, I guess you're the new guy, so probably very new to you.
Yeah, yeah. I think like right at 30 days or something like that now. I'll be perfectly honest with you. 30 days ago, I didn't know much about Fayetteville, Arkansas. And then when I drove up here, everybody who I told when I was coming up here, everybody said, "Man, you're gonna love that place." And I said, "Okay." And I start driving, and man, I got here, and I can see why they say that. It's a beautiful place now. I mean, it's a cool town, really cool. People are great, you know. Big thing that here is, you know, the same thing we tell all the recruits all the time. This is the only show in town. You know, you're not fighting an NFL team. You're not fighting any of those. So like when you go to Walmart, there ain't nothing but Arkansas stuff in there. You know, this ain't like the state. I was coach was too. We were both originally born in Alabama. You know, and you go to the Walmart there, and you're gonna see Auburn stuff. You're gonna see Alabama stuff. You're gonna see UAB stuff. You're gonna see a lot of stuff. And here's just not the case. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously being here a little bit longer than Coach, going on almost 4 months. The transition's been great. It's kind of touch on what Mitch said, man. It's beautiful up here. It's a great area to raise a family. Great community, obviously, man. They're all Razorback fans up here. But the transition's been great. But it definitely starts with the people. And the community it's a lot of great people, and I heard a number of great things about Fayetteville and been very, very impressed thus far. Now with my family, kind of similar to Coach, our families are still back in Memphis at the current time. We actually just recently moved in over spring break. We closed on the house up here, and our house in Memphis officially sold today. So it's been a whirlwind for us. But we have two boys, a 5-year-old and an 8-month-old. So we're allowing our 5-year-old to finish preschool prior to them officially moving up. But they'll be up here at the end of May. So, but it's been tough, you know, just being away from the family. But all in all, it's been great up here, though. Just excited, thankful for the opportunity. But we know it's a blessing to be up here. But it's a great community. I love Fayetteville, and I know my wife should be fired up about this. Just the public school system is really, really great. So we're excited to get our little man up here to start kindergarten in the fall.
Quarterback competition obviously is a big storyline. You probably knew you were getting that question. How are things going so far? What are strengths, weaknesses of the combatants there?
Man, things are going great. It's a good room. It's a cool room. I'll be honest with you, it's a very positive room. We kind of joke about it all the time. They're like each other's biggest fans out there on the field sometimes, you know, and cheer for one another. Hey, man, good throw, good read, all of that kind of stuff. But we're in a situation where I think the first 3 days before spring break is more about just teaching everybody, right? Like, this is how we move around practice. This is how we do these drills. This is the verbiage we use, the cadence. You know, it's always funny with quarterbacks. You don't think about little things like that. You gotta make sure they say the right cadence and they don't go back to, you know, Blue 42. And it's like, no, we're not a Blue 42 operation, you know. And then I think now, once we get on the backside of spring break, now it's about building those calluses, right? And for a quarterback, obviously, a lot of that has to do with their mentality, building the calluses of their minds and how they operate and the decisions they make, and putting them in those situations. Coach Cramsey, I'm going to tell you, he's one of the best I've ever been around at throwing those guys in situations and seeing how they respond, and giving them a chance to build those calluses. And they've responded well to that. It's a cerebral group. They have a great sense of urgency to improve, if that makes sense. You know, over the break, they all took VR goggles home with them so that they could watch the first 3 installs while they were over break. You know, we were joking because one of them said, yeah, man, I was running a QB draw and I almost ran into the room. I forgot that I wasn't, you know, on the field and all of that kind of. My mom's like, hey, stop. But those are the type of kids that they are. You know, they're constantly sending you texts wanting to know, hey, what does this play look like? Is this right? Those type of things. Kind of briefly, individually, obviously KJ's got a unique skill set. Dude's very athletic, but he's very cerebral too. He's just a kind of a savvy ball player. You know, you can tell he's been around a lot of ball. Kind of comes natural to him, some of the conversations and things like that. Smooth thrower. And then AJ, obviously, I've got a lot of experience with him, being around him. Another, like, very, very high cerebral kid. Very smart football player. He's one of those that has that unique skill set of taking what you see on film, and he can do that on the grass. Like, he can see that blitz coming, and a lot of people can't do that. It's one thing to see it on a big projector. It's another thing to see it coming when you're there. Probably not quite the mobility that KJ has, you know what I mean? But he is a big guy. Then you got Braden, who's played a lot of ball. You know, Braden Fuller, who's a D2 guy, which former bus leaguer, so me and him have a little kinship there. But he's played a lot of ball, super productive. And then Cade Trotter, there's the fourth dude who's like just ultra passionate. Like, that dude, he gets the crowd going, you know, like, he's a lot of fun. Like, you watch him play ball, that dude is having the time of his life playing football, and it's contagious. So all of them bring different things to the table, and then collectively makes them a lot of fun to be around.
Hey, Larry, same question for you. What the rooms look like, the sorting process, what you've seen from your group so far?
So far, man, I'm excited about this group. One thing that I've been most pleased with is just how they kind of hold each other accountable, kind of feed off each other's energy, kind of coaching each other up. But it's fun. You got some guys that that has played some ball. You got some guys, some unproven guys who we're excited about. Obviously, we added a few pieces with Chris Marshall and Donovan Papel. And then we got Jamari Hawkins over, and obviously Jelani Watkins, who's currently with track. But I think those three guys have been solid additions to the room. You got guys that are returning with C.J. Brown, played a lot of ball for us last year, and obviously Jalen Brown, he got hurt in the Notre Dame game. But those guys are smart football players. You can tell those guys have played a lot of ball, and they've been good for the room. Particularly C.J., just him being from the area. And understanding like the pride it is, he has for playing for his hometown, team. So CJ's been he's been great for me off the field as well in the transition and finding different restaurants and some nice little spots I can take the family to. But he's been really good, and we're excited about the young guys in the room as well, from Prevo to Trey Blair Irvin, local guys. Those guys have shown some flashes with us in the first few practices. But all in all, I think we have a really talented room. And I failed to mention Ishmael. Prior to his injury, I think he would have had a productive year last year for the Razorbacks. And another guy we're excited about, and young guy is Antonio Jordan. Yeah. I mean, he's 6'5", 235, and he has all the tools to be special. Right now he's just a baby giraffe. He's finding his way, but he's getting better each and every day.
We saw like Jamari kind of go to the front of the drills yesterday quite often. Is that just an organic type thing, or is there a seniority? How does that kind of play out? And what do you think of Jamari specifically, having been with him?
Yeah, so it's we talk about this. Jamari and I kind of joke about this all the time. This was, and Coach, you might have been with us 2 years ago. We were at the previous place, and Jamari said, "Coach, I don't feel like I belong here at the University of Memphis. I don't think I'm good enough." And just a little background on Jamari, he redshirted his freshman year there, and I got to Memphis at 2023, and I was going to Jamari's second year there, and his role on offense wasn't as big, but he found a role on special teams. And as his role increased on special teams, so did his role on offense. And his third year was productive for us, and he was an amazing gunner, jammer for us, the starter for us on kickoff. And as he got going, confidence started building up for him, and his role increased. And in this past year, he had a career year for himself, over 600 yards receiving, a couple touchdowns, but he still was excelling on special teams. So just seeing his growth over the previous 3 years is just very pleasing to see him. 2 years ago, he had no confidence in himself, but now you look at him and, bro, now you're in the SEC. So I think, like you said, kind of touched on why he was in the front of the lines. He understands how the drills are. He understands him now being a senior and kind of being, taking himself and putting himself in that leadership position, which is something he wasn't accustomed to doing because he was always felt like he was the guy that was in the back of the line. But just seeing his growth and maturity has been very pleasing.
Sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good.
The other day, one of the coaches in here said he felt like Chris Marshall was a dog. I mean, just talk about how good he is. He was a 5-star out of high school. Talent's never been his issue. How do you feel like he's going to do his 1 year here? I mean, this kind of last chance to a degree. Have you seen good things out of him?
Yeah, no doubt. Chris understands this. Like this is his last year. He only has 1 year to get it right, and we all know his history. But we had that honest conversation on his visit as well, and we addressed all the issues that he's previously had. But he's locked in. He's a smart football player, but he is a dog. Like he has that dog in him. You see why he was at those previous places. You see why he was a 5-star coming out of high school, because he has all the talent. He has all the tools. And the challenge is going to be for him is, can he consistently do that on the day in and day out? So, but he's learning. But yeah, Chris, I think Chris can be special for us along with other guys. But you do see why Chris, was highly touted coming out of high school.
Courtney Crutchfield is someone that's there again out of high school, is really highly ranked. Is kind of he not had success yet in college, but what have you seen from Courtney?
You see the ability. You see the athleticism from Crutch. And another thing with him is just, can he be consistent? But I think he's taking his body more serious. We joked about it a couple weeks ago. I think last year he was like 207 pounds, and now he's down to like 187. So I think it started with him changing his body and understanding he has to mature. I think he was immature in his first couple years of college, and I think that kind of hindered him from getting on the field. But he understands the seriousness of this thing as well, because we're constantly going to recruit guys that come in and try to contribute. And I'm excited for Crutch. I'm excited for him, man, and I'm looking forward to it. The first 4 days, he's shown some flashes. But there's a couple things he had to clean up on from a detail standpoint. But all in all, I think he's starting to understand like how important this game is, and understand like this is a business and it's not all fun and games. But Crutch, matter of fact, he texted me an hour ago, say, "Coach, I get done with study hall 11. I want to come meet with you today." So like small things like that is just letting me know that he's starting to mature and understand that he wants to. Now's the time for him to develop and take his game to the next level.
Larry, I was curious. You were around AJ last year as well. Saw him as a freshman, young guy. Where has he made the biggest growth, you think, from last year to this year?
With AJ, when he first got on campus, because he was mid-year enrollee for us, and he was learning the offense, and we were going through spring ball, he would text each offensive coach individually and then go through the script with us the night before. So, whenever we're done with our position meetings, I would go back in my office and I would review the script. He'll text me, "Hey, Coach Smith, man, can I come by and review the script?" So we'll go through each play of the script. Then the next day it'll be Jeff, our offensive line coach. The next day it may be Mitch. So just understanding like that kid loves ball, and just seeing him develop, and you can see his body change. Even though he's 240 pounds, he was maybe 230 last year, but it was a baby fat 230. And early on, he was a baby giraffe. He'll run and trip and fall over his cleats, and now you're seeing him. He's staying upright. But no, we're excited about AJ because he's a football junkie. The kids naturally gravitate towards him. He's a natural leader. But he's very, very smart and really, really high football IQ, and just seeing him transition, to this, to here in Arkansas, I think has been really good. And having Coach Mitch as a coach, for him, just being very comfortable and being, playing the quarterback position. I think comfort is very, very important, and particularly with people that you're familiar with and the system that you're familiar with. So we're excited for him, and we're definitely glad he's here.
Your room, I haven't looked it up, but your room may have had more retention holdover guys from last year's team than any other. I'm curious, what was the process like building your room in terms of figuring out who's going to stay, and then also how to go out and bring in other guys?
Well, it's kind of tough when you lose, when you lose Omega and Raylan, guys that were very productive for you last year. And then, there's an injury bug that happened last year in the receiver room with Monty, what we call him Unc Harrison, had his foot. And then Ish with the wrist last year, and then JB, obviously, then Antonio Jordan. So you're looking at 4 guys that you kind of expect to really have productive years for you, who weren't able to play the full season. So just having those guys come back, I think were huge, and also just needs. Like we needed some size on the outside, we needed some speed as well. So and we needed some guys who were productive. You know, Chris obviously has a size for us. Donnie Papel was a guy that's very productive at New Mexico State. And then we got Jamari over from Memphis, a guy that's very experienced, but another guy that's very familiar with the system and just the overall culture as well. So we just kind of mix and mingle, trying to figure out the needs and kind of, pick and plug certain guys in the room.
Larry, you mentioned CC a little bit. Just could you go a little bit more in depth, just what it's like getting a guy back from injury and what you've seen from him that you've liked and what made him, an intriguing person to keep around even after he missed a year?
Man, he's smart. Obviously, a Stanford guy. So he's very, very smart. He loves ball. He does a great job of taking notes. He's physical. He's tough. And he catches the football. I think sometimes we kind of lose sight of that, man. As a receivers, we get paid to catch the rock, and he simply catches the ball. Whether it's wide open, contested, he plays a lot bigger than his true size. But it's just a joy to coach because he loves the game. He has a great personality. He is a vocal guy as well. Like he'll kind of rally the troops a little bit and kind of get guys going. But just having him in the room because he's a guy that can play all three positions because he knows he's learning the offense and he takes great notes and he asks questions in meetings and on the field in between he's asking questions as well. So we're excited about Ish. And he's so determined to get back from missing last year. So this offseason was very personal for him to get back and regain that confidence and understand I'm ready to contribute. I'm ready to get healthy and and do this thing the right way.
And for both of you, just what makes working for Coach Silverfield different from other staffs you've been on? What's different about him and how things are run?
I would say the accountability, top to bottom.
Without a doubt.
Straight up. It don't matter what your role is, what your name is, how many years you've been with him. He's got a way that he wants to do things, and he's going to make sure that he holds each and every person accountable to doing
Us
it that way.
included.
Us included. Like kids play, does not matter, us included. And then just the schedule of it all. That dude's a detailed dude now. I mean, every moment of your day is planned out, scripted out, the whole nine. You know exactly when to work. As a matter of fact, I'm up here. I just realized I'm up here sweating my fanny off because I was trying to work out because it's kind of our workout block per his schedule. Before we came over here, but it's awesome because each and every day when you wake up and you go to work, you know exactly what's expected of you, and that makes it easy to work for him.
Yeah, coach is very detailed, very smart, very organized. Kind of piggyback off what Mitch was saying, but yeah, coach he's so big on the little details. Matter of fact, this off season, I think it was during Wednesdays during the off season, we worked on getting a regular stance and start and simply working on the first step.
Yeah,
just one single step. And the reason why we did that is because we want to eliminate the false steps, and that false step, can be the difference in a block punt or a block field goal or a sack, whatever the case may be. So he's that detailed and he focused on the small details and everything that we're doing, whether it's on the field or off the field. But the fact that we took a whole day and worked on just simply taking one step, that kind of lets you know how coach is and how he's big on the small little details because we know the small details add up to the big things. So, but yeah, he's very, 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 very organized. Our days are scripted out by the minute, and that's how it's been. So just this is my 4th year I think working for coach. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it for sure. He keeps us in line.
So Larry, you played quarterback in college, and Mitch, you kind of cut your teeth coaching wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Now the flip. I mean, I'm just wondering that previous experience, how does that help you in your current roles, and how important is y'all's relationship together, the quarterback wide receiver chemistry there?
Oh, it's very important, and we talk all the time about it, and both of us being former quarterbacks, so I do think we see the game from a different lens, and it allows us to teach our position from that lens, and it's very important to be on the same page with the quarterback, and we're going to start actually, I think maybe next week, start meeting together and watching some film together, because as we get closer to the season, we'll meet with the quarterbacks twice a week and kind of go through some things and go through the call sheet and go through some of the pass game stuff and some third down situational stuff, because we understand how vital it is for us to be on the same page and all that. But me and Mitch on the same page on a lot of things. We're constantly communicating on things, and we may be in a position, we may text each other, hey, man, what do you want to do on this route right here, or how you want to coach this up, just to make sure we're all speaking the same language and all that. But it's very, very vital for us to be on the same page.
Mitch, what have you? I know KJ is new system, new coaching staff. He's still only a redshirt sophomore, but are there any ways where just his experience here in the program has stood out and maybe given him a leg up in the competition or anything like that?
Sure. I mean, I think he immediately comes in with some street cred. Because he knows the guys. He knows a lot of the guys that have been on the team prior. So he has that relationship piece to it. I mean, shoot, man, it's a bit. He knows he knew where the bathrooms were. When everybody else got here, nobody else even knew where the bathrooms were. So like, there's a leadership role naturally of, hey, how do we get to the Jones Center? Hey, come follow me. Hey, how do we get to come follow me? So he does have some of that with him, but he's also got some of that naturally. Like, that's just kind of like his personality. He is a mild-mannered alpha is how I would put it. He's not a screamer and a yeller, but he does have a presence about him. You know what I mean? Kind of that makes you kind of naturally gravitate to him a little bit, and you see it. You see other players that want to go sit at the table he's at when he's eating, post-practice meals and stuff like that. So he's cool. He's a cool dude. He's there's the coach speak for you. He's a cool cat.
Larry, I think every coach that we've talked to in this room about Antonio Jordan has talked about his skill set. What does he need to do to make sure that skill set translates to playing time, big numbers? I mean, what's the next steps for him in his development?
I think with AJ is staying healthy. I think that's the biggest thing for him is being healthy so he can get out there and showcase his skill set, because he does have he's a guy that can easily play on Sundays. Because he has that much talent, that much skill set, that much ability. But it's going to be for him is understanding how to take care of his body, how to live in the training room, which he's doing a much better job of that. And just understanding, like, this is a full-time job. Like, you have to be fully invested. You have to truly learn how to study the game. You have to be a football junkie. And we think, like, you look at him, you feel like he's a junior or a senior, but he's only going to his second year in college. So he's still a baby. So that's our job to kind of groom him and, guide him along this journey. But he's learning how to be a pro. And once he starts understanding that and take that a little more serious, I think the sky's the limit for him, because he's special. He really is.
Yeah, Mitch, when you look at recruiting rankings, the top 30 or so quarterbacks from last year all went to Power 5 schools except for one, and that was AJ. I was curious what you guys did to bring him into Memphis. And he's not from Tennessee or anything.
Yeah.
He's from Georgia. Like, what was it about Memphis that, and the coaching staff, I guess, that attracted him?
I think it was is genuinity a word? Genuine? Coach Silverfield is genuine. What he told the kid was what, kind of transpired. Coach Cramsey, very genuine. There was never a, hey, we're going to show you this even though this ain't real. All the conversations with him while we were at the other place was, listen, this is the reality of your situation. This is what our room looks like. This is what we think your career can be. This is how we're going to treat you. This, the whole nine. And I had a relationship now with his dad. His dad and I played ball together, so I knew his family really well, and kind of grew up in Georgia for a little bit. But so there was a relationship piece there, but I think overall it was just it wasn't recruitment. It was conversations. It was getting the kid on campus. And again, Coach Cramsey and Coach Silverfield, I think that's what they do a tremendous job of is like when guys come in, they tell them the truth, right? They're not trying to sell them a car. They're not trying to sell them a house. They're selling them on a future and what it can look like. But they're very detailed in, hey, these are the things that you have to do for that future to become a reality. And I think that a lot of guys, especially guys like AJ, who have AJ's personality, who's a very serious kid, and kind of knows what he wants. I think that they like that. I think that they like being talked to like that, and that's essentially what won him over, so to speak. I think.
Sometimes I've noticed when he throws, he tend to drop the ball down to his waist.
Yeah.
Is that something that you work with him now, or is that something that
A little
he's in a
bit.
quarterback competition, just let him keep doing it the way?
A little bit, and Coach can attest to this. Like here in a couple of weeks, the Masters. We're gonna go to the Masters, and you're gonna see a lot of golfers, and a lot of golfers have a lot of different swings. John Daly had a very different swing than Freddie Couples, but they could both hit it straight, and they could both hit it long. At some point, you get to the age at the quarterback where the way that you throw is the way that you throw, and you just learn how to make it work. As long as it does not hurt the integrity of what you're doing in your system, right? If we're going to throw an RPO, he's going to have to shorten that thing up, and we work a lot with that, and just trying, because it is a little bit elongated. But he's also figured out a way to make it work. He can change his arms when needed, his arm angle when needed. He can make some different throws and that sort of thing. But I don't want to, let me get in trouble for that. I don't want to Tim Tebow him. Tim Tebow was a heck of a quarterback until people started trying to change his motion and all of that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, man, you could tell it was a struggle for him. Freaking, let him go play, man. So there's a little bit of it. But most of it has to do with, hey, this is going to hurt the integrity of this play. This is going to hurt the integrity of what you're trying to do. So we have to change this. If it doesn't, we don't mess with it a whole lot.
Figuring out who the starting quarterback is going to be a hard job. You see all the time, like you go back to Tom Brady. There was an injury ahead of him before he got his opportunity. Stetson Bennett at Georgia, Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like, how do you come out of this competition being assured that you have named the right guy?
That's shooting at $1 million question, because there's no blueprint to it. There's really not. I think that there's a couple of different pieces to it. We chart everything, right? So from a production standpoint, those dudes, they, if they cough, then we chart it. Every completion, every incompletion, the whole thing, it's boom. So you have this statistical view of it, all right? Who is productive? But then comes the aspect of, like, the gut feeling part of it, like when you watch it and you say, hey, who's moving the team, right? Who's moving the team? Who inspires the team, right? That's a huge piece of it. That's a little bit harder. Because I don't have an Excel spreadsheet for that. You know what I mean? That's more of you just have to watch. And at the end of the day, you just you take the statistical analytical part of it, you take the gut feel part of it, and you just do the best you can at seeing who's got the best of both worlds, right? And then you just let them go play. And the thing about it is like, what you don't want to do is you don't want to handcuff them, paralysis by analysis. Like, those dudes have to go out there and they have to play, right? And I think that that's one of the things that they've done a great job of, is they're not getting caught up in the hoopla of who's taking what reps, who's taking how many reps. They're getting caught up in, what do I have to do to be successful at this rep? What do I have to do to be successful at this rep, right? Y'all probably seen it. We have a huge rotation going from day to day, right? The way that we're doing it right now is one guy will have the ones for the day, okay, so that he can get in a groove with the ones, right? Then the next guy will have the ones for that day. It's not series by series and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's where their mindset's been, is, hey, how am I going to be the best that I can be today? And they don't worry about the rest. And if they'll keep doing that, that's how they're going to build their reputation with the offense and with the team.
Wanted to clarify, AJ's dad and you played, was that at Valdosta State or somewhere else?
Valdosta State.
Where was it?
Yeah.
What did
Derek Hill. We played. Now, let me say this. I did not play. His dad played. I was a clipboard holder. I was a really good backup quarterback, like a really good backup quarterback. You want to do a drill? I could do a drill, cuz. But no, I was a freshman, and he was an upper class junior or senior.
What position?
He was a defensive end. Matter of fact, I think he started as a quarterback in high school, and then he ballooned up and was huge. He built just about like AJ was, and wound up playing defensive end for us.
To the point you're comfortable with, you chart everything. What's your completion percentage been like? What's the efficiency been like? What?
Great question.
Good question.
I'll tell you this: for the room right now, we're sitting over 65%, which is what yesterday was really good.
It was?
Yeah.
I definitely felt
Yeah,
otherwise.
yesterday was really good.
From our position.
For the room. Now, let me say this. The reason why he says that is because we also have this one little column called drops. We don't count that in our room. He counts that in his room. We don't count that in our room for the time being. But we are sitting above 65% as a room, as a total, which is kind of what we shoot for individually. You know, when we get out of this thing, we want to be as high above 65% as we can be.
I saw the freshman made some catches yesterday.
Prevo.
Yeah,
He did. Yeah, he had his best day yesterday for sure.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, get you a towel,
Coach.
man.